Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, Fabulites. All right, so this is Notes on the News Feed. I don't know what number it is, but I'm trying to keep up on my news feed because I feel like there's so much going on, I get a little out of touch. So we're going to start from the back and move forward. Survivor, this is the headline coming off of bbc.co. It says, Survivor, every day of my life is Holocaust Day. I was kind of curious to read that article. It was a survivor of the, is Auschwitz a word for, you know, what the German government or whatever did to Jewish people in that region of the world? I'm not sure, but a survivor of what we call the Holocaust, or what, you know. But I was curious about that story because, like a lot, I don't know if you heard me the other day, but I said that a lot of times when you see people coming out of being jailed, wrongly jailed for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years or whatever, a lot of them seem very like, well, I'm just going to go on with my life, you know. And it's just, it seems kind of surprising to me that people aren't more angry and people aren't more traumatized, or at least expressing more anger and more traumatization. And I'm like, have they been treated? Have they been counseled? You know, is the child's name Anthony Browder? There was a young man who was arrested supposedly, I believe, for stealing a backpack, and he ended up being in jail for 2 years and in isolation for a year, or just some crazy, foolish ridiculousness, and he never had a trial, and he ended up committing suicide. And hey, Bella. And so I'm just surprised that, you know, it just seems like it's so traumatic, that type of thing. I'm surprised that, you know, you don't hear more of those stories, or more people getting out of jail being like, I want revenge on everybody. And I guess it reminds me so much of, you know, or it brings me so much to mind of our enslavement as African people, and us making peace with that, you know, in the immediate aftermath of our enslavement, but also, you know, just over the years, that actual experience of enslavement, generations ago, or, you know, 1 or 2 generations ago, but also the ongoing harassment, the ongoing stigmatism, the ongoing exploitation, just the ongoing ugliness that we experience. So I want to read, I do want to read that article. I'm sort of curious about it. Okay, this is also coming off of BBC. Russian space launch death stirs Kazakh resentment. I don't really know much about Russia, but I was just like, oh, it seems like almost everything that I've seen about Russia on my news feed has had to do with them hacking the elections, or, you know, being, you know, the owners of President Zero, as Poetry says. She said, he's not even 45. I done demoted him to 0. I'm with that, girl. I accept that demotion. So that kind of caught my attention. Miss Thing is jumping up and down. Okay. Motor City Restore Program launches to help improve small business storefronts. So what they're doing is, if you have a small business in Detroit, you can apply to get some assistance in getting your curb appeal together, getting new signage, getting, you know, the front of your store to look nice. So I thought that was interesting. And that's coming off of Detroit Curb. Man severely burned after falling in Yellowstone hot spring. How does this happen? I thought that these national parks had visitors all the time. Have we heard of this before? And then it also kind of caught my attention because, y'all, I love a natural hot spring. Like, all over the world, wherever I go, I always try to find the natural springs. I've actually been in one in Dominican Republic called Aqua Fria, maybe, but it was freezing cold. It wasn't hot, but usually I like them hot. I just went to that one because it was supposed to have, it was the only one I could find that was a natural water source, and it was supposed to have beneficial benefits, but it was cold. It was cold. Okay. So I'm sorry. I hope the man is okay. You know, burns are kind of serious. Steve Harvey makes terrible joke about the Flint water crisis. Again, this is coming off of Black Time Travel. I'm gonna have to visit that blog because it seemed like it used to primarily do historical things. So I'm like, are they doing current news? Is this an old story? But then the Flint water crisis, even though it's like what, 3 to 5 years old that it's been public, it's still a relatively new story. So, and then, you know, so I don't know if it's a current story or not, but Steve Harvey won't lose a fan in me because he don't have a fan in me. So there's not really much he could say to make me respect him less. Okay. Aileen Black, plaintiff in case challenging the disparate pay of black teachers in Norfolk, Virginia. And this is coming off of Black Then as well. Another one of those blogs that I thought dealt with history. So I did click on the link, and it seems to be a current story, but I wasn't really sure because I was walking, so I didn't really read it because you know, my internet was going in and out. Hey, the Pooda. You got the sleepy weepy eyes. I know you uncomfortable. You want to walk. I can't help you, girl. Okay, New York City pension fund will stop investing in private pensions. And I think that when I clicked the link, it said that this is the first large fund to do that. Ooh, that was fancy. I just backed up to change the lighting. It's coming through that tree over there. The evening sun. So that was exciting. It kind of reminded me it reminded me of when I was in school and people started divesting from investments that they had in South Africa. So, you know, it's good. I don't think that people should profit off of the exploitation. Oh, Lord, be careful, Bella. Be careful, Pooda. The exploitation of other people. U.S. doctors dispute North Korea coma story. So what these people said what the official story was from North Korea, I guess, was that the child got botulism and that's why he was in a coma. And now that he's home, the people are like, this young man does not have botulism. But did anybody believe that story anyway? I just figured they jacked him up because they didn't appreciate what he was doing. He thought he was doing something lightweight and funny, and they didn't think it was funny at all. And it's that type of government and that type of environment. America's dental care gap is wide. How some states are trying to close it. I remember finding out that if you're on like public assistance and you get your health care through public assistance, that basically if you have issues with your teeth, they just pull them out. So I guess that they wait for them to rot and then, you know, pull them out, or just pull them out if they're hurting you. And I'm kind of like, well, that doesn't really seem like a sustainable solution, because I mean, don't you need teeth to eat and stuff? Like, it's kind of like it just seemed kind of like barbaric and backwards. Like, so somebody have health care, but you know, you just gonna pull out their teeth? What's going on? What's really going on? So I think that's everything that I got, Fabulites. So I guess that I will say to you that I want you to be you, be fabulous, and be fabulous you. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You, and thank you so much for clicking, liking, subscribing, commenting, thumbs upping, sharing, and all the other wonderful things that you do that are connected with my channel and not connected with my channel. Peace!